There's so much emphasis on risk that the risk almost at times overwhelms the doing of the thing.
G'day, I'm Deborah Caldo and welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future. A future where they are safe, secure and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. When I spoke to Carol Smail from Gig Buddies Sydney in the last podcast episode, I focused on that part of our conversation about Gig Buddies, what it does and why it's so amazing. But in my conversation with Carol, we also talked about her experiences supporting people with additional needs and how things have changed, sometimes moving forward, but other times actually going backwards in some ways. So in this episode, I wanted to share part of that conversation with Carol because I think it will resonate with you as it did with me. So first up, let's hear from Carol.
When I came into this organisation, which was 93, so I did 6 months as a support worker in a group home and then 10 years as a service coordinator. And when I started as a service coordinator, every single person basically said to me, I don't like people I'm living with, I don't want to live with them. But they never had that opportunity. So I kind of set about saying to everybody, well, who would you like to live with and where would you like to live? And in those days, the New South Wales state government used to actually give you, money for like housing rental assistance, and also there was a lot more government housing, so we were able to do that. But a lot of behaviours just dropped away because they weren't because people were disruptive or anything, it's because they were just fed up. When I looked at their kind of life story, they had gone to Cromehurst, which was a school on the North Shore, and then you went into the workshop when you were 15 or 16, and you went on holidays with people. So you went to school with them, you went on holidays with them, and you lived with them. When I looked at what are these holidays, we're going on this bus trip for 2 weeks around New South Wales. We'll tell you who you're going to share a room with in the motel, and we've already ordered all your food. And they used to do things like go to a goat farm and a lavender farm and the big banana, these sorts of things. So I said to them, well, we're not doing that. Who wants to do something different? And they said, well, absolutely. What do you think? And I said, well, would you like to go overseas? So we started doing these trips overseas, and you wouldn't be able to do it now because, one person taking 12 people to the UK for 2 weeks or to America for a month. But they were hugely successful. And I said to everybody, and so you're going to do all of this, you're going to have your own room in the hotel. We're going to go to really nice hotels. You're not going to be told what you're going to choose from the menu. It was just excellent. And the same when we went to the States, we went to Vegas, we went to California, we went to Arizona, we went everywhere. And it was like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? People got to actually do where would you like to go? And they got to go. And also, but having that autonomy of, I'll decide if I want a window seat or an aisle seat on the plane. I'll decide what room I would like to have. I'll decide what I'm having. No one will be telling me, and I'll manage my own money. We didn't have any disasters. I think there's so much, and Paul talks about this quite a lot, there's so much emphasis on risk that the risk almost at times overwhelms the doing of the thing, or something bad might happen, so better not do that, Open future learning, Paul made some videos with them which are hilarious about better not go out because it might get dark, or it is that thing where, again, who are you protecting from whom, and it becomes so complicated and people are so scared of what if something happens and I'll be responsible. All this stuff, it's been put out into the ether really about how risky it is, and so it's kind of easier not to do it and to use that as an excuse rather than do something really good and make sure that you do it properly. You know, you can do risk assessments and environmental analysis and all that sort of thing. You can do all that without spoiling the event.
There's a lot to think about in what Carol's saying. In terms of housing, I think advances are being made, almost in spite of the fact that there is even less money around to create better housing options. It's made many people find their own solutions, and I've shared quite a few of those projects on this podcast. When it comes to vacations and travel, I think Carol might be right in saying that the overseas trips that she took people on wouldn't happen today, exactly for the reason she says, fear of what might go wrong and who would be held responsible. A term I've learned over the years is positive risk, and that's certainly what Carol is talking about here. But there's another term I've heard used as well, and that's dignity of risk. And I wonder if that's a better way to look at the point she makes. Because dignity of risk is about choice as much as risk. The whole idea that people should choose where they live, who they live with, and how they live their lives, and that's dignity. I don't think I'm much different from many parents of a child, in my case a young adult with additional needs. I worry about her. I worry about how she'll cope when I'm gone. I think about all the scenarios, mostly negative, that could happen. But also know that after so many years of constantly being by her side, being her protector and her advocate, she needs me to step back so she can take risks, learn from her own mistakes, and not be limited by what I'm afraid might happen. Is it easy? No. Will it get easier? No, I suspect not. But I also know what will happen if I don't. She really won't be prepared for when I'm not around. At least this way I can still be around to support her if she does happen to need that support. Also, I've put a link in the show notes to the video that Carol mentions that Paul from Gig Buddies did with Open Future Learning. It's definitely worth a watch. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and the solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. And if you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. Of course, if you want to, you can leave a review, because that is another way families who need this information can find it more easily. This show is created as part of Red Giraffe Solutions. To find out what the Red Giraffe is all about, visit redgiraffesolutions.com, where you'll find more resources around daily living, relationships, purpose and financial security. I'm at Deborah Caldo on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of those. Bye for now.